5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We are live. My computer managed to freeze just as we went live. Nice. Hello, it's umbraCoffee again. 80? Is it 85 now? This is
Yes, 85.
I'm always shocked at how many episodes we've done. Not far from 100.
Yeah, we need to definitely plan something for 100 episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we shouldn't do a break from 100.
Yeah.
I mean, no, following up to some vloggers who are doing series and stuff like that. Yeah, episode 100 break, then series 2, whatever else. We'll find out something.
Bring umbraCoffee back, season 2. We'll have 5 episodes a week, a new cast. No. No,
the live stream 24 hours per day, stuff like that. Yeah. No. We want to come. We want to keep this format simple and fast enough for everyone to catch up what happened in Umbraco, and not only in Umbraco community, because today we want to start from something different, right?
Yeah, this is. I think this there's been a lot of hype because it's this anniversary of the Apollo landings, and they have open sourced the software from the shuttle. Am I right?
Yes, that's there are 2 software repositories right now. One of them is from the of course the AGC. It's Apollo Guidance Computer, which was used in the Apollo 11th mission. And what's interesting inside of it are some comments in the code. And Adam flagged it today because we were just crawling through the code base, and it says, for example, please crank the silly thing around, see if he's lying and stuff like that. And of course, it's a kind of great to see that even code like that used for very critical missions and safety critical paths is having a space for humor and distance, right?
Even back in the 60s when this was written.
Exactly.
I wonder.
And
or not tidied up, but
did you see that there is also the plural site free course, which is a guidance through the whole code base.
Oh, that's
if you don't understand assembly language enough, there is even a course which can help you understand this code base and some decisions and some paths used in the code. It's kind of cool for developers and software developers and everyone who is interested in the tech industry to see how something like that was built and is built still. Right?
Yeah, I think it's really, really, really cool to see, and you're seeing much more of this now. People open sourcing the software from, I think there was the BBC Micro operating system or something. I can't remember what it was recently, but
definitely Microsoft's calculator was open source as well.
Of course, and Notepad and whatever else. So that's
good. The power of open source and everything else like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think as well, this is maybe a really nice tie-in to one of our topics this week, because I can't remember who I was talking to earlier this week about the fact that the iPhone or any smartphone nowadays has more computing power than that shuttle that took man to the moon. And this maybe is a nice cheesy segue onto benchmarks. And
what a transfer, Callum! What a great transfer. But I remember some tweets saying about there were some games done in 8 megabytes of memory, and right now we are using 3 gigs on some servers, and we have done enough space there to perform all of the magical operations. But that's a great segue to the second topic, which is about benchmarks, because the multi-award winning off-road code Steven done updated benchmarks after the last releases of 8.1 and 7.15. And there were some discussions about startup times, and I know that now Shannon is also investigating why those numbers are maybe not similar to the benchmarks done inside of Umbraco, because Umbraco developers are also using the benchmarking inside of the code base itself, and that's something what's definitely is worth of our attention if we are interested in RAM usage, startup times, and stuff like that. And I crawled through that, and of course there are some areas in which both of them are performing definitely better than previous benchmarks, and there are also some areas in which still we will be looking for more improvements in the next releases. Yeah,
and there was a lot of discussion on Twitter about what these numbers mean and different ways you could analyze some of these metrics. I think some of the points that that Shannon and Stefan made was, well, actually V8, whilst yes, it may be taking slightly longer to start up, it is doing a hell of a lot more stuff than perhaps V7 was. You've got a lot more things going into cache. You've got introduction of models builder at some point in the past, which then kind of affected. So if you benchmark 7.0 against 8.0, they're going to be different. They're not the same thing. But it's not to say that there's not room here to start improving.
Always there is a room. There is no perfect and final destination. And it reminded me about another great book in our .NET industry. It's Andrei Anishkin. I can't remember how it's exactly pronounced right now. He released a book about benchmarking .NET, which is the greatest library, in which one of the Polish also community members was participating very actively. So if we are doing, and I'm sure that Umbraco is using this library to benchmarking inside of the core.
They do have quite a few benchmark .NET tests in the code base for V8, which is good to see. They're definitely taking this seriously. It's not like we can just say, oh, 8 was launched and it's got a whole bunch of performance.
And Warren made a good point in live chat that all the numbers always need some context, and also the paths and reproductions should be probably done within the same environments. But that's good to have a measurement across the versions, and we will be always keeping an eye on internal benchmarks and also external benchmarks, because I love numbers. I know you, Callum, also love the benchmarks and numbers and comparisons and performance metrics, right?
Yes, exactly.
This is what we love the best. Good. And the next one was a totally different topic. It's not about development in general, because it was an idea and the whole the group formed around Umbraco, right? Around Umbraco usages, and we are talking about uPractitioners, right?
Yeah. So this was featured in the Script release this week, right? Mike did a little bit of a write-up on the history of uPractitioners and how that it kind of stemmed from this discussion at UK Fest of how we can get more people engaging with the community that aren't necessarily developers. And he's been running this virtual Umbraco practitioners meetup, I think quarterly or maybe monthly for the past since January, and it's been really nice. And speaking to him, in fact, at the London meetup, he was talking about how they want to make a bit of a community for practitioners, an online community, like a website or a Facebook type thing where people connect and ask questions and maybe post jobs and that sort of stuff. It's a really nice idea. It's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, of course we will share the link to the article itself, and there's a lot of links to contact Mike directly and the whole initiative and how to and where to follow them and the movements, announcements and stuff like that. So highly recommend for everyone who is not maybe into development exactly, but maybe also it's a way to encourage some people from our companies and our areas who are just working with us, developers, and maybe don't have a space to share their experiences and maybe ideas also how to make the whole journey better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that it's been a really nice mixed bunch of people for the past few meetups that they've had, and that can only get better and can only grow. So it's people from technical backgrounds or people that maybe aren't developers now but were before. So yeah, it's not like this is an offshoot of the community. This is still an extension of the community, and we can all be encouraging people to get involved there.
Yeah, I think also that the Code Garden is a good example of how it all evolved from the pure development oriented community into the really basically everyone who is using the web, and not only web, to deliver content, and not only content through the internet. So that's something what we definitely need to follow. And I remember that always it was colliding with some of my plans during the date. So I hope to visit the virtual meetup soon.
It's the same for me. Virtual meetup and the uPractitioners meetup, I've missed every single one, despite best intentions. They've always clashed with some kind of event. So really
next time, always the next time. But we can come back to the very technical stuff right now because during this week we've seen some of the sneak peeks from Darren Ferguson about DevOps automation used in Mariama.
This is
And
really cool. I'm a big sucker for really nice internal tools and just things that make your life easier. And this looks awesome.
Yeah. Also, first thing what I've done was just tell me more about it. We want to learn more about for what you are using it, how you are using it, and how it's built, and how everyone can maybe learn from those practices and include them in some of the company's internal and not only internal practices. And it's used as a command line tool, which might be triggered from DevOps as well. And there are some really cool automations. And from what I've discovered, they, for example, used it to automatically patch all of their Umbraco websites and deliver the latest security advisory instructions and fixes and workarounds to all of the sites deployed through the DevOps, right?
That's really nice. And I there's the thing about it making a pull request automatically and and stuff. It looks really, 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 really cool.
Yeah, we've done some of that magic in the past, right? Some of the automatical pull requests and stuff like that. But it's always great to see other use cases. And I see some people from the community asked Darren, what are the plans? And also Darren said that the responses are bigger than he expected, and probably will learn more about it when he will come back from vacation, from holiday.
It would be really cool to see this or something like it, maybe parts of it open sourced. I know that just in the video there, we saw he was utilizing Chauffeur, which is a similar concept, but this seems to be doing a lot more of the infrastructure level stuff, like upgrades, not related to Umbraco specifically. So it would be really awesome to see this, maybe, or just see more information. Some blog posts would be cool.
Yeah, and second tool was something what we were already mentioning a while ago. It was a kind of automation which was helping to disconnect frontend from Umbraco and help build sites using Trello boards and stuff like that.
I think we've spoken about the Yuzu plugin by the package by Hi-Fi before, but this is the first time I've seen it creating a Trello board. Maybe I've missed it up until this point, but yeah, this is effectively scaffolding, doc types, configuration from Trello comments, and they've got this syntax, like kind of a bit like YAML, I think.
Yep. Yeah. Structured language, which is just converting. I remember some talks and chats with Hi-Fi during the Code Garden, and I discovered that they are really using it for production builds and environments and everything what they are currently doing. So it's a really complex solution to really separate frontend from Umbraco and build sites from the shared code base and just by copying and pasting the same ideas and same implementations which are already covered, and maybe then style them and make them work differently like in the past. So another interesting kind of it's an automation process of building Umbraco sites.
Absolutely. And I like this idea that it's a standardized framework for you defining what your Umbraco site looks like, because you go to your scoping phase of a project, and every time there's always like, oh, we're going to create these doc types, whatever. But if you had a base set of configuration that you're always going to have, you could just go, I need a new project, and it spins everything up, and it's pretty nice.
What we've been thinking recently is to separate each feature into the library and then just use MyGet or NuGet to rediscover it for another future project. And we've done like that with some of the separated features and implementations from Umbraco. But that's another approach. That's another just implementation of the same idea of reusing what's already done and making it simple and consistent across projects, which is, we all know, is very challenging for the companies.
For sure. Maybe whilst we're talking about reusing stuff and new things, we can slide to some packages, because week and last week we've suddenly seen a huge surge of packages being supported for V8, but specifically V8.1, and this week we've had about 5, I think.
Yeah, let me open them. But really, that's something everyone. We've mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Everyone was waiting for 8.1 to ensure that everything will be pretty enough solid, at least at the moment, right now, to not rewrite packages once again, because we've been expecting some major changes inside of the code base. But it seems like it wasn't too breaking, because a lot of package creators just boomed, fired up, and released new versions of packages for V8, and one of them is virtual nodes. Second one
by Sotiris, but I think Christopher's forked it and made it work for 8. So I'm not sure what the plans are with this one, but it's cool to see it ported.
Exactly. The second one is Iconic.
Yeah.
So Icon Picker, done by Mario, and the version 2.2 is for Umbraco V8. And then
V2 before that actually did work for 8.0. It was one of the early V8.0 packages. And I've been using it. It's really good. But yeah, this is just an update for 8.1.
And then two big packages which were really awaited and expected by a lot of community members. So first of them is personalization groups. So one of the most popular packages for handling personalization in Umbraco V7 right now, supported in V8. I haven't played with it yet, but it looks like it's really something what was really expected by a lot of community members.
Yeah, and the Umbraco by Andy too.
The second one.
So this is a way of mapping to view models, or it's kind of to anything really.
Yeah. So strongly typing Umbraco models and just using a really nice layer of transferring the properties from published content to strongly typed classes in Umbraco. Really cool. Once again, amazing to see so many releases for the latest Umbraco. And the next one is the grid data, which is a beta release from Skybrad, but it's Anders and Skybrad just are high, kind of quality mark, and even their betas are pretty stable. When I was using the alpha, it was already working very well. Yeah. So right now beta,
they're churning these out like nobody's business. They've got betas, I think, for almost all of their Umbraco packages now for V8, which is great to see.
Yep. And from other releases, not packages itself, there was a security DLL released by Perplex, and I've seen some references to the topic which Darren shared through this video of automating patches, and some of the companies done it automatically through the NuGet libraries. Jeffrey shared the DLLs, which can be easily just dropped to the environments to fix to place the workaround for the security release. But also we are all expecting the patch release soon, right, for Umbraco, where the pull request will be merged with the fixes and workarounds already there. And the last topic from the upgrades and awaited content and packages is another big package, right?
I think this is a really big one, because this is not actually just we're going to release a new version. This is a quite serious future plan for what doc-type grid editor might be. So it looks like, because Soren Kvartal's been working quite excessively with a bunch of contributors too to get doc-type grid editor working with V8 for many months, and it seems like that pull request is ready to be merged and is going to go ahead, and that it looks like Soren is going to take over the ownership and the maintenance of doc-type grid editor. And it's not really clear if Umco are going to give it up completely, or if it's just going to go to Soren. But yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see see what happens with this. It might be quite interesting.
But it's good. It's good to see the really nice plan, migration plan of the package, which is one of those which were mentioned a lot in terms of what's blocking you from using Umbraco V8 now. It was because it was so popular in Umbraco V7 that a lot of people couldn't live without it. So it's great to see that it's coming. It's really coming.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something that I think people are going to need to use for a little while longer, because there's all this talk about getting doc-type grid editor-like functionality into core, but I think it's a little way off yet. So fantastic addition. Probably one of the, as you said, Marcin, one of the big things stopping people from using 8 right now for a new project.
Yeah, so fingers crossed for making it really, really fast. And speaking about Lee and his recent work, we've been teased by some of the pictures and tweets from Steve Temple from the latest Bristol Umbraco meetup, and we've seen that Lee was demoing a lot of packages which are recently being adapted to work with V8. And I don't know if we have a list of those packages. Maybe we should visit the Steve's Twitter to see that. But some of them are on Lee's GitHub account, right?
Well, so this is a new thing he's been working on, which is effectively a replacement of components for V8, called Contentment, and it looks really. He was demoing this to a few people at Code Garden.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but it was also something what was discussed a lot. So uComponents, the great package for the all of the Umbraco versions almost in the past, from 4.6 to 7. Right now, new version done by Lee. Great. I want to see this demo, but I also seen a lot of other packages being demoed. So yeah, that's great to see. That's it's all getting there, and probably there won't be too many excuses right now to start working with V8.
But more so, it's really exciting to see some of the big package developers like Lee building new stuff for V8 to make that experience of using the product even better. Because if V8 is just a little bit better than V7, people aren't gonna go for it straight away. But if there's really cool packages like Contentment that are going to make people's lives a lot easier, then I think it's going to make that decision a lot easier too.
Yeah, exactly. And if we mentioned the Umbraco meetups, also we've seen that there were some meetups happening last week. One of them was the meetup in India, for example, which was something new. I haven't seen this group earlier, to be honest, but
they meet semi-regularly, like every couple of months, I think, but it's normally at a weekend.
Oh yeah, that's but still, it's a great meetup, and I've seen some tweets about explaining why to use Umbraco at all. So it's something what we've also been practicing in Poland to just convince people who are attracted by all of the other technologies and CMSs why Umbraco is so important and different. But also something what I really loved was the release notes or a roundtable meetup notes from Umbraco London group. And it's something what's really, I tweeted after that I almost felt like I was participating in this meetup. I've just catched up everything. And it was worth to mention that there were some really cool discussions about very important topics around Umbraco community and Umbraco in general, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually ran out of time to discuss all of it because there was so much stuff that people wanted to talk about. But from V8 and how we can get people more comfortable with contributing to that, to maybe creating a starter kit for V8, and a whole bunch of stuff. Even some little questions that people had that were just answered kind of as we went. Yeah, it was really cool. Even we came up with an idea of overhauling hackathons as a whole line. But Emma has gone away and spoken with the PR team quite a bit, and they've discussed how they can do some more stuff there. So this isn't just this is a great example of a meetup kind of flowing out into the rest of the community, and we can share what we've discussed here too. There's even a Trello board too with all of the
nice. It's so amazing that you have so many very active and let's say influencers from the Umbraco community being there on the same table, and that's a great opportunity to share those ideas, and if they are written, all of us who are less influential and less we don't have potential to even attend some of the meetups right now. We can feel like we are participating in something, and we can put the comments there and also attend the discussions and exchange some knowledge from the other areas and other locations. Amazing.
Exactly.
Maybe that's a good connection to something else, because you were also surprised that there is a huge community on Facebook recently, right?
I don't use Facebook at all, but I didn't know that there was actually a reasonably large community for Umbraco on Facebook. I only saw earlier this week, I think Paul Seal tweeted a link saying there's a bit of a discussion going on. people introducing themselves, and there was 50 people in there saying, "Hey, this is me." Like it's
yeah, but
really
the group has 377 members right now, which is an amazing amount of people. And as I've told you before we went live, I'm running the Polish community on Facebook as well, and that's something what we've been using a lot. But Paul is recently very active on this group. We are exchanging a lot of information here, and a lot of familiar faces are here as well, introducing themselves. And it's great to see some of the people who were not active and visible anywhere else. Maybe they are not using Twitter, maybe they are not on our, and that's great to see some of HQ members as well here. So that's a great another way of exchanging Umbraco knowledge. And as I've shared even in my introduction somewhere here, that I'm happy to exchange knowledge through this group as well. So yeah, that's great to see that. So if anyone who is watching us right now is using Facebook, just find the Umbraco Web Developers group and just join there.
Yeah, I did not know this was even a thing. So maybe I don't know if I want to resurrect my Facebook account, but
in the world full of privacy, danger, and everything like that. Did you hear about this Face app application
controlled by a Russian company?
Controlled by Russian company and stuff like that. Yeah, I have a huge distance from it, but yeah, that's interesting to see that so popularity of apps like that is making them danger for everyone, and because we are not even expecting that something like an app may do something else with our data. But yeah, that's amazing. I've mentioned HQ. HQ also shared that they hired a new employee in the Comma team, and it's Milena Stijovic, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and she will be responsible for helping Comma team to do some content marketing, some promotion, and
spreading
around communication.
Yeah.
That's great. So Umbraco team is still growing. We know that there is a vacation time in Denmark and everywhere else, and we've mentioned it last week that the most of the HQ members were enjoying vacation. So right now it's good to see that there are some new great additions to the team, and the team is growing constantly.
I think Milena was actually working for HQ during Code Garden. I believe I met her at Code Garden.
Yeah, I also recall seeing her definitely in the venue. But yeah, that's good to see. New additions, and last topics on our list were some calls for help.
Yeah,
calls for help.
One Warren that was about getting some more editors involved and doing some user testing. There's been a lot of spread in the community on Twitter, but I'm not sure maybe if that's the best place to reach editors. So hopefully people know someone, maybe a client that would happily take part in this.
Yeah.
That had his question for T-commerce, right?
Yes, the second one was for T-commerce and SagePay provider. So if anyone done anything some integration with SagePay for T-commerce, or generally maybe .NET integration, because I'm more than sure that it's really easy to port for support T-commerce providers, feel free to shoot out to Matt and respond to this tweet. We'll of course share the link. Cool. And the last link on our list is another great video shared by Paul Seal about passing query strings to Umbraco forms. Something what I've done recently as well for one of my projects. And Paul once again is just driving everyone who is interested in this topic through the whole integration, from what we can see, using Umbraco V8 already. Indeed. So that's great to see. So if you
as a machine just churns out daily.
yeah, that's amazing. But that's great. That's great to see. And if anyone else will be so determined to share knowledge, because it's not about only doing things, it's also about sharing time management as well and stuff like that. So great to see, Paul. Keep it up, of course, and share more.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's probably all from our list, right?
Yeah, it is. The only thing from my list is that we're kicking off our barbecues now. So that's starting next Friday. The weather doesn't look too promising right now. It's chucking with rain here. But I'm up in Leeds next Friday, and we'll be doing a barbecue there. And then I'll put a link somewhere in the description for sign up. So if you're up in Leeds or nearby, come and say hello, get some free food.
And my list as well, because we are still looking for some speakers in Poland Festival, which will happen in October. And I will also attach the link. I forgot about it, to be honest. But yeah, we are looking for some more speakers proposals. We'll be deciding at the end of the month. So still, there's a lot of time. But yeah, I will share this thing.
I think the UK Fest. The UK Fest speakers has got 2 weeks left on it before we close that. So again, and yours ends at the end of August. Is that right?
Yes, that's great. End of August. Yeah, and we are still in July. I was afraid that the holidays are ending so soon, but it's not yet.
I need to sort my summer vacation still. I've not got anything.
Me too. So yeah, let's back to planning some amazing stuff, and of course we'll be here in the next week, maybe with something special. We don't know yet, right? But it will be all revealed soon. And yeah, thank you all for watching us and staying us with here. Smash the like buttons and everything else like that, and be with us in the next week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. See you next week.
Cool. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Cheers.